The first update we have today is on Gretchen, Rossi, and the swirling drama surrounding the Real Housewives of Orange County finale. So yeah, this one's all about that really contentious finale phone call, and all the rumors flying around about cast members leaking stories. Plus, Gretchen's side, where she's firmly denying she had anything to do with it. Gretchen Rossi is speaking out, okay? She's totally denying that her partner, Slade Smiley, was that distorted male voice you heard on the RHOC finale call. Remember, the one accusing Tamra Judge of leaking stuff all season? Gretchen's like, it is not Slade on that phone call, and she says the cast and production can actually back this up. Now, Zach Peter from the No Filter podcast, he claims Tamra has absolutely been leaking things for months to podcasters and bloggers.
All right, now that the Real Housewives of Orange County finale has aired and it's out that Tamra has been leaking things to bloggers and podcasters, this is 1000% true. I can say that with full conviction. I've known about this since at least July, okay? Now,
he even said Tamra told people not to interview Gretchen because she'd supposedly be exposed at the finale. Wow. Zach also kind of illuminates how producers sometimes leak info, maybe through DMs or anonymous questions, just to, push the storyline forward. He suggests that whole finale phone call could have been something like that. Gretchen's also pushing back hard against claims she liked some pretty controversial posts, homophobic, anti-abortion rights stuff. She believes those screenshots were faked, calling it a fabricated post. And Zach points out, didn't Tamra kind of wait until the finale to bring those posts up, even though she apparently knew about them for a while? Strategic? Maybe? Things got even messier with an old video popping up showing Gretchen years back with her daughter Skylar Grey declaring, "Go Trump, go. I got a Trump hat."
Oh, yeah! Go Trump, go! I got a Trump hat!
Hold on, there's probably one that says Biden in there.
Oh, yeah, imagine. No, burn that one.
Oh, and another rumor? Zach criticized Teddy Mellencamp for dragging Sheena Shea into that whole storyline about Gretchen supposedly being drugged and hospitalized, saying it was just because, fans already hate Sheena. Oof.
Before we get into the next update, please make sure you've liked this video and subscribed to this channel. Okay then, let's move on to next update now.
Next, we're going to talk about the latest updates from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Specifically, Dolores Catania's role in the ongoing drama between Teresa Giudice and Melissa Gorga. Okay, so things have been, tense between Teresa, Melissa, and Joe Gorga for a while now. But it seems like maybe, just maybe, they're getting closer to patching things up. Teresa apparently signaled she was ready to move on back in September, and both Melissa and Joe have kind of echoed that sentiment. Joe even confirmed Melissa actually texted him. So this brings us to Dolores Catania. She was asked recently if she'd step in and mediate between the sisters-in-law, and Dolores was totally enthusiastic about it. She said she'd love to be a mediator because she's really close to both of them, She added she's always been an advocate for them being together, though she did add a little joke, hoping they don't kill me in the meantime.
I think that's a good idea since I know them and they're both very close to me.
Here's where it gets interesting. Gia Giudice, Teresa's daughter, kind of pumped the brakes on that idea. While she was clear, saying, "I love Dolo," Gia basically asserted that these issues, they need to be handled privately, between my mom and her brother, and between the four of them, implying, they need to figure it out themselves. And just a little bit of other news involving Dolores, she gave an update on the new franchise, The Real Housewives of Rhode Island. She confirms she'll have a small presence, appearing in a little cameo here and there. Filming for RHORI actually wrapped back in September, but we're still waiting on an official release date. It's widely assumed we'll probably get that announcement at BravoCon. So this was today's update about Dolores Catania's perspective on the Giudice-Gorga reunion and her upcoming cameo on The Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Let's now move on to the next update. Next, we are going to talk about JT Thomas's startling decision to sell all his assets and move across the world. So, JT Thomas, from Southern Charm? Well, he kind of dropped a bombshell about why he suddenly disappeared from the show. He announced on Instagram, basically saying he pulled the ripcord and, get this, moved to Bali. And it sounds like he might not be coming back to the US, like ever. And this isn't just some long vacation, okay? He's calling himself retired living in Bali now. Said he just decided enough's enough. And he wasn't kidding. He confirmed he sold everything he owned. We're talking his business, properties, even his car and watch. Just gone. All to start fresh, until things become normal again, as he put it. He hinted that his life back in the States was just chaos. And yeah, this comes right after that season where, a lot of fans felt the cast really ganged up on him, especially pointing fingers at Craig Conover for maybe spreading stuff that turned people against him. But even though he's calling Bali paradise, it's not all smooth sailing. He straight up admitted he doesn't know a single soul there. He's going to miss Thanksgiving, which is tough. And now he's got to figure out how not to be lonely, right? Like build a whole new community, find things to do. His plan for day one, it really sets the scene. Hit the gym, try to make friends by the pool, maybe go surfing later. Quite the change. So this was today's update about JT Thomas's life after Southern Charm. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we're going to talk about Luann de Lesseps' recent tell-all on The Sarah Fraser Show. So, the Real Housewives of New York City alum Luann de Lesseps was pretty open, She touched on everything from her dating life to some major Bravo scandals, giving fans some much-needed updates. Okay, first off, her dating past. She actually confirmed she dated MLB great Keith Hernandez back in the day. Apparently, she met him when he was super famous, but she didn't recognize him, which she said he totally loved.
I used to date Keith Hernandez, who was the Mets player. Remember him?
I loved that Mets documentary. Keith, I don't even know how you dated Keith. Wait, he seemed like obsessed with baseball and too much, honey.
Well, I met him when he was a star of the Mets. I didn't even know who he was. I met him out, and then we walked out of the restaurant, and people were asking for his autograph back then. So I was like, "Are you famous?" And he was so thrilled that I didn't know he was famous. So that went along like a house on fire.
Luann calls herself a relationship person, a hopeless romantic, you know the type. And she even clarified her body count, saying it's less than 25, maybe even less than 20. Then she talked about the future of RHNYC. Luann thinks there's a real chance of something happening for the OG cast to come back, though she wasn't so sure if Ramona Singer would be part of that. Interesting, right? Speaking of co-stars, she doesn't mind Carol Radziwill anymore. She was actually happy Andy Cohen brought Carol back on Watch What Happens Live to kind of make amends after their big falling out. Luann also got into the whole scandal thing on Bravo. She basically said scandal is just part of these shows. It's intrinsic. But she drew a clear line when it came to legal stuff, like with Wendy Osifo, who was arrested for fraud, and Erika Jayne, who's accused of spending money meant for her estranged husband's clients. Luann flat out said stealing from accident victims is way, way worse than, say, stealing from the government. And on a later note, she totally gushed about Southern Hospitality's Joe Bradley, calling him a hottie with an Elvis kind of quality. But classic Countess, she wouldn't confirm or deny if they hooked up, even though his girlfriend at the time apparently tracked him to Luann's apartment. Wild. So this was today's update about Luann de Lesseps' recent candid comments. Let's now move on to next update. Next, we are going to talk about the highly anticipated trailer for Vanderpump Rules Season 12. It introduces a whole fresh wave of servers and, promises massive drama. So the new season brings in this dynamic group of friends, frenemies, and lovers all working for Lisa Vanderpump at SUR. And apparently the drama is going to be as messy and complicated as their iconic predecessors. Okay. And yeah, the trailer does touch on Scandival. You'll see Ariana Madix declaring right to Tom Sandoval, "I regret ever loving you." Oof. Then Lisa Vanderpump kind of sets the tone for her staff, saying, "Give me anything, but don't give me boring." Classic Lisa. Now, there are 10 new cast members joining the chaos. We get introduced to Angelica Jensen, Natalie Maguire, Shane Davis, Venus Binkley, and Chris Hahn, just to name a few. Angelica, one of the newbies, she's immediately established as the series' flirt. She admits she gets into coworker relationships pretty quickly. Later, we see her flirting with Shane. He tells her his dating profile, saying he believes in monogamy. Yeah, that wasn't updated. He says he struggles to commit because he wonders, what about all the other chicks? So naturally, this sets up a big love triangle involving Shane, Angelica, and Natalie Maguire. And it escalates fast. Angelica confronts Natalie about texting Shane, even asking her, "Do I need to, stab you?" Whoa. Other conflicts are brewing too. Natalie tells Lisa her coworkers are all telling me that they hate me, while Kim Suarez notes Natalie is really nice, and then she's crazy. Plus, Venus reveals the cast is able to work, party, have sex, and Chris Hahn tries to explain finding a penis pump by saying, "Athletes stretch, I pump, we all have a routine." Interesting. Venus also accuses Kim of making him feel backstabbed. Lisa sums up the whole wild scene perfectly. This is SUR. They're not perfect, but they're mine. Important dates for you. Before season 12 starts, Bravo's airing a special Raise Your Glass to 11 Seasons episode on Tuesday, November 25th. Then, Vanderpump Rules Season 12 premieres Tuesday, December 2nd, both at 9/8 Central. So this was today's update about the Vanderpump Rules Season 12 trailer. Let's now move on to next update.
Okay, next we are going to talk about the major behind-the-scenes drama that Chrishell Stause has been spilling about Selling Sunset Season 9. So, yeah, ahead of the reunion, Chrishell basically went all out on social media. She's revealing a ton of tension with co-stars Tiesi and the new agent, Sandra Vergara. And get this, she's saying producers actually refuse to air some pretty serious stuff. Right, so first, Chrishell gets into it about Tiesi. Apparently, there was some dig about pronouns at the reunion that Brie and Sandra laughed about, and Chrishell claims producers shut down any talk about Brie's ongoing lawsuit. You know, the one from former employees claiming a hostile work environment? Chrishell says there's proof in there of Brie using LGBT slurs and really going off on people. She also mentioned that a friend showed her how Brie talked about G, Chrishell's partner. Oh, and another thing that got cut, the fact that Brie apparently used to date a girl. So Chrishell is calling all of this fake allyship. Then, moving on to Sandra Vergara. Remember that scene where Sandra accused Chrishell of not being nice? Well, Chrishell was not having it. She felt the whole storyline was totally manufactured because she insists she hadn't done anything to Sandra. And to really drive her point home, Chrishell took a pretty big dig, calling Sandra a fake realtor, claiming Sandra didn't even have her license when they were filming. Ouch. And finally, that whole thing about Sandra maybe keying her assistant's car, Chrishell kind of clarified it. She said her former employee swears Sandra did it, but Sandra swears she didn't. Chrishell's best guess? Since her employee and Sandra apparently fought a lot, maybe the employee just assumed it was Sandra when it could have just been some random person. So still a bit murky there? So this was today's update about Chrishell Stause's Selling Sunset expose. Let's now move on to next update. Next, we are going to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac as newbie Tia Glover made her debut on Watch What Happens Live. And wow, she definitely used that time to weigh in on some major cast drama, you know? Everything from a co-star's legal troubles to rumors flying about accents and friendships. So first off, she reacted to Wendy Osifo's fraud arrest news. Tia revealed she was, quote, just as shocked as everybody else. She expressed sadness about it, really emphasizing how tough it must be, thinking specifically about Wendy's kids and her family. Then, things got pretty heated when it came to Stacey Rush. Tia flat out slammed Stacey's claims about her maybe having a fake accent. She was like, I'm not an actress, and basically said Stacey is from an alternate universe, just making stuff up. And when asked if Stacey and Chris Samuels were just friends, Tia gave a blunt, no, I don't believe that. She even picked Stacey as her most annoying co-star right now, calling her very dodgy about her dating life. Okay, moving on, there was also the drama around Angel Massey's photos. Tia kind of noted that Angel comes out a bit more when Kiana Stewart isn't around, but Tia also expressed some regret over how she handled that whole photo situation. She admitted, hey, she filters her own pictures too, so it felt like the pot calling the kettle black. She kind of wished she'd been braver and stood up more. Now, shifting to Gizelle Bryant, Tia actually believed Gizelle's apology was super genuine and meaningful, especially since, well, Gizelle doesn't apologize often. And she defended Gizelle for not getting Stacey's robe monogrammed, saying Gizelle stood in her truth because Stacey's identity felt a bit uncertain, you know? Like you have to double check everything she says. Just a couple quick things she mentioned. She really enjoys Monique Samuels and applauds the self-work she's done. And while she's a fan, she hasn't actually met Karen Huger yet, but hopes to. So this was today's update about Tia Glover's debut on Watch What Happens Live and the latest RHOP drama. Let's now move on to the next update.
Okay, so next up, let's talk about Alexis Bellino. You know, she just shared something pretty personal about her plastic surgery journey. So she actually posted this video, right? And she revealed she had to get surgery, like, emergently to fix a ruptured implant in her left breast. Yeah, pretty serious stuff. And this happened decades after she first got them. And, you know, this whole thing has her really regretting getting implants when she was so young. It really demonstrates the long-term issues that can pop up. It actually all started way back in high school. Apparently, people called her Pancake because she was a small B cup. Can you imagine? So she was really upset and ended up getting her first surgery at just 21. She paid the $6,000 herself, working 3 jobs and maxing out a credit card while she was still in college. Wow. Fast forward to now, at 48, and this latest surgery, it's like her 4th or 5th one. They had to fix the rupture, obviously, but also deal with some bad encapsulation that's like hardened scar tissue around the implant. She also went way down in size, from 700 cc's to 450 cc's. And she even said, "I can breathe," which tells you a lot. She wishes she'd waited until after having kids. She's really using this whole experience to send a message, kind of like a PSA, especially to teenagers. She's basically saying, hey, think twice before you put implants in your body. Now, you might wonder why she didn't just get them removed completely. Well, she explained she has many reasons why, like a lot of scarring and basically zero breast tissue left, so she'd be completely flat. She really emphasized that the whole point of sharing this was hoping to save even just one teenager from going through the same thing too young.